This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix one packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task. And go to Dubby.gg and use my promo code Angry Blerd 10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's Dubby.gg with promo code Angry Blerd 10. Yo, it's your boy Bernard, aka the Scarlet Spider, and welcome to another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast, where I will be discussing everything nerdy that has caught my eye this week. But unfortunately, we do have to start off on a somber note. We have to give a rest in peace to Lou Gossett Jr., who a lot of people may know from An Officer and a Gentleman. The first thing I ever saw Lou Gossett Jr. in was actually one of my favorite sci-fi movies growing up as a child, and that was Enemy Mine. It was him and was it Dennis Quaid, I believe? Let me double check this. Yeah, it starred Dennis Quaid, and Lou Gossett Jr. played an alien, and they were basically at war with each other, and they got stranded on the planet, and they basically had to learn how to cohabitate the same planet to survive. So they basically needed each other to survive. A lot of people may know him from Iron Eagle, like I said, An Officer and a Gentleman. He was also in Jaws 3D, Diggstown, Blue Chips. Damn, how many Iron Eagle movies were there? Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy. He did voiceover work. He was in Dog Jack, Why Did I Get Married? 1 and 2, Undercover Grandpa, so on and so forth. So, yeah, we have to give a rest in peace to him. We also, unfortunately, at the time of this recording, have to also give a rest in peace to Chance Perdomo. A lot of people may know Chance Perdomo from Gen V. He played Andre, and he was also on the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. He passed away from a motorcycle accident, and there was no cause of death given for Louis Gossett Jr. But we definitely have to give a rest in peace to those two individuals. Yeah, Louis Gossett Jr. was 87, and Chase Perdomo was 27. I'm sorry, Chance Perdomo. So, Marvel has been ramping up their video game catalog a lot more over the years. You know, we got the Captain America, Black Panther, Marvel 1943 game coming out next year. We got the Task for Spider-Man 2 earlier. This month. Well, at the time of recording this month. And obviously the Avengers game that didn't work out, and Guardians of the Galaxy. But now we are getting a free-to-play game from NetEase and Marvel that is called Marvel Rivals. So a lot of people are saying it looks like Overwatch meets the finals. I saw the trailer, and we already know how I feel about live service games. This one is free to play. I'm probably not going to play it. I'll probably give it a chance, but I don't really do the live service free to play games. Like, I tried Overwatch, it wasn't for me. I tried Fortnite, it wasn't for me. But yeah, so this is a 6-person 6v6 player shooter. There are a lot of Marvel characters in this game, as there should be, since it is a Marvel game. It has Spider-Man, Black Panther, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Doctor Strange, Luna Snow, Penny Parker, who else was in there? Thor, I believe the Hulk, Magic, Magneto, and that's all they've given us so far. But they will begin alpha testing very soon. Let me see if I have a date for that, like if you can sign up. I just know the alpha test is in May. Yeah, they haven't given any details on how to sign up if you want to be a part of that. But live service game, it is what it is. I mean, I can complain. Like I said, I'll probably give it a shot, but more than likely I won't, just because, don't do live service games. So yeah, there's that. So a movie franchise I never cared about, and they're on like what, 5 movies? Look this up real quick. I believe there's 5 of them. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. Jerry Bruckheimer was doing an interview with comicbook.com about his new film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I don't know why I picked that title, but yeah, that movie has Henry Cavill in it. And they were saying basically, this Six Pirates movie might be a reboot because they don't necessarily know if Johnny Depp's going to come back. It was also rumored that Margot Robbie was going to be in it. Craig Mazin, who is the creator of Chernobyl, which was a series on HBO, also the co-creator of the Last of Us TV series, actually wrote the script for this. But so, I don't know. I've never gotten into pirates. It's just one of those things that is not for me. Like monster movies, I will not be reviewing Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire. I don't know if y'all recall, but I fell asleep watching Godzilla -1 4 times in the theater. And I did not rock with Godzilla vs. Kong. So y'all can go back and actually listen to that episode and hear how Samir berated me for not liking this movie. But like I said, I really don't have any type of preference with the pirate movies. But yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer said it's hard to tell. You don't know. You really don't know. You don't know how they come together. You just don't know. Why does he keep going on gibberish like this? Because with Top Gun, you have an actor who is iconic and brilliant. And how many movies he does before he does Top Gun, I can't tell you. But we're going to reboot Pirates, so that is easier to put together because you don't have to wait for certain actors. Yeah, I guess. Pirates reboot coming soon from Walt Disney Pictures. Like I said, never really got into the Pirates franchise. My only knowledge of Pirates comes from Kingdom Hearts 2 and
What is wrong with you?
So yeah, you can judge me on that if you want to. I don't give a shit. All right. And movie news. Well, more movie news. Courteney Cox is rumored to be returning to the Scream franchise for Scream VII. So we already got confirmation that Neve Campbell is coming back. They're just basically trying to save this franchise as best as they can because they decided to fire Marissa Barrera for, speaking on the stuff going on in Gaza. And Christopher Landon, who was the director, who got a bunch of slack for the firing of Melissa Barrera, although he has nothing to do with that. He's just a director. He stepped down because people don't know who's really behind the scenes. You can look up to see who's the producer, the executive producer, and so on and so forth. Kevin Williamson, who was actually the co-creator of the Scream franchise alongside Wes Craven, may Wes rest in peace, is going to be directing Scream 7. Is honestly, I think we should just leave the franchise where it is because now it just seems like you're scrambling and scraping, as Diddy would say. Spoiler alert for Scream 5, you killed off Dewey, and you really made it seem like Gail was going to get killed in 6. So who's going to be the sacrificial lamb this time around? Is it going to be Sydney or is it going to be Gail? Because Nev didn't come back for 6 because of a pay dispute, so this would be like a perfect way to kill her off, which they're probably going to do. They probably might not do. I don't know. I don't know if Neve Campbell is going to come back for Scream 8, but who knows? I really don't have a preference. I like the movies. I'm just not a super diehard fan of them. So I think this is old news, but it's coming back up due to the fact that this movie will be re-released in theaters next Sunday, I believe, or next week. So Kirsten Dunst is doing promotion for her movie Civil War, which is coming out next month. And people were talking to her about the first Spider-Man due to the fact that we're about to have the 22nd anniversary of it. And we're in our 100 years of Columbia Pictures. Like I said a few weeks ago, they're going to be releasing all the Spider-Man films on a weekly basis. So she was on the Jonathan Ross show, and she recalled shooting the scene. She said, I remember Sam Raimi giving me a book of famous kisses to be inspired, but really also wanted to make it special, even though it was kind of miserable actually doing it. It was pouring with rain, freezing. Toby couldn't breathe, so it was as if I was resuscitating him. So I actually do remember that being a thing on the DVD at the time, also on the Blu-ray.
Turns out the makeout wasn't as magical behind the scenes.
The conditions weren't as sexy and sweet and romantic as it came off. Rain was pouring up my nose, and then she was kissing me, and I couldn't breathe out of my mouth, and I had to hold my breath while I was kissing her, and I would sneak little breaths out of the corner of my mouth.
It was like he was giving me CPR or something like that.
You are amazing.
I don't recommend kissing that way, and especially in the pouring rain when you're freezing at like 5 a.m. You're not in a kissy mood.
Still, it was nice kissing her. I managed to sneak some pleasure out of it.
Maybe that's
Talking about how frustrating that scene was. Because if you go and rewatch that scene, Toby's veins are popping out of his head because he's losing, all of his blood is rushing to his head. I mean, honestly, that is like one of the most iconic kisses in movie history now, to the point where they made fun of it in superhero movie. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. I would like to hear Toby talk about it as well. But like, yeah, man, I couldn't breathe. She was bringing me back to life, literally. Don't know if I'm gonna go see Spider-Man in theaters. I mean, because when that movie came out, I saw it at least 15 times.
Bruh.
And I was 16 when it came out. So that was a lot of bus trips because my dad was not taking me to the movies. All right. So someone who I don't want to come back to a role is decided to post some comic books that may be hinting that he's coming back. And that's Finn Jones. So Finn Jones posted on his Instagram story, issue 125 of Power Man and Iron Fist. So don't know if he's just teasing that or if somebody gave it to him at a convention. But also in that same photo, he has the book for the Never-Ending Story, which we already know is being adapted into a new film. So it's possible that he could be teasing that he's going to be in Never-Ending Story. It could be that he's teasing that he will be returning as Danny Rand. It could just be that he's reading the Never-Ending Story and somebody came up Power Man and Iron Fist comic. But if he is indeed teasing that he's coming back as Danny Rand, Finn, I'm going to need you to do one thing and one thing only. Okay? And that's your fucking job. Okay? Because you got this role when it was the Netflix series. According to multiple people on set, you would show up late to film and you didn't bother to show up to fight choreography. So your fighting scenes were very sloppy and not as good as they could have been. So if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right, okay? Otherwise, people are going to lose it. And I vaguely recall somebody giving you shit about that at one of the SuperCons I went to. It may have been like SuperCon 2016 or 2017. I don't think I went to 2018. It might have been 2018. I don't know. But it was sometime around there, like after the first season of Iron Fist aired. So if you're going to do this, do it right. All right. And actors talking on, not coming back for roles. Qui-Gon Jinn once played by, someone who black people liked until, he decided to do some promotion on a movie of his where he said, a friend of his was raped and he just wanted to beat any black person he came across with a pipe. And that's Liam Neeson. He was doing an interview with Screen Rant. And he said, I am not going to be playing Qui-Gon Jinn anymore in live action because I am old. Okay. The Phantom Menace came out 26 years ago. He's like, nah, I'm good on that. And honestly, I can see that. I mean, how old is Liam Neeson? What's he, like 60? Oh shit. Liam Neeson is 71.
Damn.
Thought he was shit. I gave him a little bit of grace. But yeah, so if you want to see Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, you can go ahead and watch episode 1 and Obi-Wan Kenobi both on Disney Plus, or just buy them physically. Although, he didn't say anything about not reprising his role for animation. So that is a possibility. All right. So this is my deep news. I am sick and tired of all these old, decrepit white people just going after Disney for showcasing progression and female leads and things like this. So this is a guy named Nelson Peltz. He is a billionaire investor. I believe he actually owns stock. He calls himself an activist investor. He's aiming to win 2 Disney board seats, and he has stirred up controversy by calling Disney's recent era woke strategy through diversifying its film slate at Marvel. So the 81-year-old businessman whose experience is with food companies including Wendy's and Heinz, as well as having once supported Ron DeSantis, had a lot to say about the Marvels and Black Panther in an interview with the Financial Times. He said, "Why do I have a Marvel movie that's all women? Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvels that are both? Why do I need an all-black cast?" All right. Keep in mind, he is the father of an actor who played Katara in the M. Night Shyamalan Last Airbender adaptation, so Nicola Petz. So he said, people go to watch a movie or a show to be entertained. They don't go to get a message. All right. So this is very similar to what Ike Perlmutter said a few years ago. That's in the book, MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. So he also got fired because he said, yo, people don't want black people in comic book movies. They don't want women to lead comic book movies. All they want is a strong white guy named Chris. But also, since he has also claimed that he doesn't have experience in media, it's interesting to note that Trian Partners is part of Disney, and Nelson Peltz owns that. So he roughly controls $3.5 billion worth of Disney stock. And 79% of it is owned by Ike Perlmutter. So this goes back to Perlmutter's feud with Kevin Feige, who pushed for Black Panther and Captain Marvel. Perlmutter fought against diversity in Marvel's slate until Iger stepped in to force his hand on a lot of movies to be made. Keep in mind, Black Panther made $1.3 billion. So, I mean, I didn't see him complaining about getting his cut of the movie. And shout out to George Lucas, because George Lucas is actually on the board for Disney. And he actually stood up against this punk ass bitch, Nelson Peltz. He said, creating magic is not for amateurs. What sense is being a billionaire if you're not a bully? That's something that Nelson said. He said, when I sold Lucasfilm just over a decade ago, I was delighted to become a Disney shareholder because of my longtime admiration for its iconic brand and Bob Iger's leadership. When Bob recently returned to the company during a difficult time, I was relieved. No one knows Disney better. I remain a significant shareholder because I have full faith and confidence in the power of Disney and Bob's track record for driving long-term value. I have voted all of my Disney shares. I have voted all of my shares for Disney's 12 directors and urge other shareholders to do the same. So it's just like crazy, just like all these old white people just want everything to be all white, everything. But yeah, so Peltz aims to add more board seats for his hedge fund firm through his Disney bid and support the agenda like Ike Perlmutter, his silent third-party partner. And he has advocated for during his Disney tenure. The Hollywood Reporter discussed that Perlmutter had this up his sleeve as soon as he was terminated, as he immediately pledged his stakes in Disney to Peltz. Before Iger came back, Peltz had attempted a proxy battle with the company as a result of his losses, but was held off by his return. With the seat bid, he hopes round 2 in having more direct influence of the board company. No, they actually need to get his ass off the board, okay? You're 81 years old. You don't know nothing about what's going on in the world. You don't know anything about black people or women, Mr. I ain't got no problem with women, but why are these women here? That's what you sound like. Why do we need a movie with all black people? Because the world is diverse, you fucking idiot. Still can't believe he's like, people go to a movie or a show to be entertained. They don't go to get a message. What messages have there been in Marvel movies? Besides the same ones that are pretty much in every single one. You can get through anything with the power of friendship. Mm-hmm. Or if you believe it, you can achieve it. Those are pretty much the only Marvel messages I've been getting. Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? I feel bad for whoever is in his bed, slapping on his knob. All right. So, short episode this week, guys. I am going to give you the reviews for X-Men 97, Invincible, and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. X-Men 97 Episode 3, Fire Made Flesh. When a visitor arrives at the mansion with a dangerous secret that threatens Cyclops and Jean's relationship, the team is propelled into a tragic confrontation with an immortal mad scientist. So I watched this episode twice because I watched it on Wednesday and I watched it before I recorded for a refresher. So, spoiler alert, we got Cable's origin, okay? So for those of you who did not know, Nathan is Cyclops and Madeline's son. He's not Cyclops and Jean's son. He is Cyclops and Jean's clone's son who was sent to the future because he was infected with a techno-organic virus. They did change a few things in the series as opposed to the comic book. It was like, I want to say it was Rachel Summers who brought him to the future instead of Bishop, and Cyclops and Jean raised him telepathically by inhabiting the bodies of two people in the future named Slim and Red. Don't know if that's going to happen unless they actually do it in like the next few episodes or so. Sunspot, use your fucking powers, bro. Because you at this point, take your ass back to Brazil because you're being a liability, okay? You're freaking out because you saw, your mama in the whole exorcism situation. Jubilee had to save your ass. Bishop had to save your ass. Beast had to save your ass. All right. Morph is still dealing with some of his PTSD from his situation with Sinister. It's fucked up how everybody just like pulled a 180 on Madeline when Beast was like, "This is the real Jean. You're the clone." And everybody looked at her like, Wolverine still being a cuck for Jean, like, "Yo, this is how I feel about you. Use my memories, Jean." Thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I looked more into Morph's powers. Morph, so he can't fly if he uses like someone's powers. Well, if he changes into someone like Angel, the best he can do is glide. Okay, because he doesn't have the full extent of their powers, and he can also make weapons. Hence, why in episode 2 and in this episode he was able to use swords because he used the sword as magic in this episode, and he also turned into Spiral. So, but they aren't very pliable weapons, so it's basically like a one-hit break. Very good episode. I always feel bad for clones because they don't ever get to thrive unless it's Star Wars, and even then, not really, because they also get mind controlled. Then you get execute Order 66, and now you're forced to kill all the people you was friends with. Poor clones. But very good episode. Okay, I was not expecting that because I really don't know Madeline's backstory. I didn't get into X-Men until the mid 2000s, like when I started buying comics on a weekly basis and was roughly spending about $1,000 a month on comics.
Oh, damn.
So Madeline Pryor was not in my wheelhouse until recently, with her and Ben Reilly basically trying to team up and destroy all of Manhattan until she decided to betray Ben. And we really need some clarification on what's going on with Rogue and Magneto, because are they fucking in the Danger Room? Like when Wolverine, Morph, and Gambit left the Danger Room, they were trying to book it again. Bro, Magneto and Rogue had that Danger Room booked that Friday night from 8 p.m. to midnight and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So what's going on? All right, someone tell me. All right, but hey, man, Gambit saw his worst nightmare. You saw them getting it on. I wonder what Wolverine saw, because they didn't show what Wolverine, Hank, or Bishop saw. Because we saw Morph see Sinister, we saw Roberto see his mom, and Jubilee was there, so she really didn't see anything either. But yeah, very good episode. Watch X-Men 97 on Disney Plus on Wednesdays. All right, let's get to the penultimate episode of this season of Invincible, and that's episode 7. I'm not going anywhere. So, Mark's personal life is in turmoil as a formidable new villain emerges, posing Invincible's toughest challenge yet. Meanwhile, Donald confronts his troubled past. So, a lot of people are complaining about seeing too much of Donald, and if you read the Invincible comic, Donald finds all this stuff out. So, it is a B story. Yeah, it kind of takes up a little bit of time, but it's still a good B story. All right. It's not like it's a filler episode of just like Donald. All right. Donald is learning that, he has died multiple times and he chose to get his memory erased. And so now, we got Debbie out here getting hit on by her coworker, which should never be a thing. Don't date your coworkers. As someone who, I didn't date her. I just did other things with her. But don't do nothing with your coworkers, okay? All right. We got Rick still dealing with the trauma of being tortured by D.A. Sinclair, who is no longer voiced by that psychopath Ezra Miller. He is now voiced by Eric Bazua, who is the current voice of Bugs Bunny. I believe he was the voice of Bugs Bunny in Space Jam, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check. Oh, he did some voices for Transformers, Benton Omniverse. Yeah, he's Bugs Bunny, Buster Bunny, Daffy Duck. He's also on X-Men 97. He was the demonic sentinel in this episode, Master Mode. Yeah, so no more Ezra Miller. And they did the joke. They did the joke from the comic book. So if you've ever read Invincible, like this episode starts off with Mark and Amber going to Comic-Con. And there is a joke about what comic book artists will do to cut on time for a deadline. Where basically they'll just use a panel and just like leave it blank. And then obviously like the next like thing will be like slightly different. And they did it. I was really hoping they would do it, and they did it. They knocked it like right on the head. A lot of people are mad because they're like, yo, so we had to wait like a few months for y'all to get this fucking joke off. It's just like, come on now. But I laughed multiple times. I actually posted it on our Instagram. I'm saying our again. It's just me on my Instagram and the TikTok for the page. So check it out. Anissa. Mark is gonna have his hands full with Anissa because that lady there, she gonna do some stuff, and that's all I want to say. I don't want to say what she gonna do, but she gonna do some stuff. And Angstrom Levy, whatever you want to say, is back. I mean, we got him teased at the end of episode 6 where, he got a new suit. We're gearing up for season 3, they can't be a delay for season 3 because the way this kind of sort of, they can be a delay, but I don't want there to be a delay because what's going to happen next changes Mark a lot. Like this season finale, this is going to change Mark a lot. Okay. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say. All right. Oh, and obviously, him and Amber are going to break up. If they didn't break up, it was kind of alluded to in that episode when Anissa came and ruined date night, said, yo, come with me, I'm gonna shatter your girl's throat. Ah, shit. All right. Let's get the Ghostbuster Frozen Empire. Written and directed by Gil Keenan, also co-written by Jason Reitman. Stars Paul Rudd, McKenna Grace, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, Kumail Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, Logan Kim, Celeste O'Connor, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Emily Aylan Lind, Annie Potts, William Atherton as punk-ass Walter Peck. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters new and old must join forces to protect their home and save their world from the second ice age. So, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, okay? It had everything I wanted from a Ghostbusters movie. A lot of the stuff I'm seeing is, Ghostbusters needs to stick back to busting ghosts. It's like, you can do both. You can, bust ghosts and have a family concept to it. And that's what they're doing. You got to realize, like, if you go back and watch the original Ghostbusters movies, there is nothing about their lives that we know. Okay. All we know is Peter Venkman, Bill Murray's character, been trying to get with Susan Sarandon for the longest. We even saw that in Afterlife. All right. They finally got together after XYZ amount of years. Like, so you got to add a little bit more dynamic to it. Phoebe got benched by Walter Peck because you can't have a 15-year-old out here, busting ghosts and basically she's not employed. She's just freelancing, which is illegal in every single state. They're like, nah, you can't do this till you're 18. So she ends up making some bad life choices, like, you know, befriending a ghost, which isn't necessarily wrong, but when that said ghost is being bossed around by like a giant ancient ice god and convinces you to like kill yourself for 2 minutes to hang out, you're screwed. And if Phoebe was black, trust me, after they saved New York, her parents would have beat her ass. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I was like, yo, podcast guy, like he like had like a growth spurt. Like he went from being like he went from looking like Russell and Up to like he matured. So shout out to him, because everyone was like, is that the same kid? And yes, that's the same kid. The mini puffs are back. They stole the truck at the end of the movie. As it was hinted in Afterlife, Winston pretty much owns Ghostbusters Incorporated, so he has like an offsite at an old aquarium where, you know, people are working for him, and Ray is kind of still working for him on the side. Like he's getting possessed items and they're extracting the ghosts from those items. Like they had a possessor in there. They had like this I don't know what it was, because he was always in the shadows. This actually dealt with like a lot of stuff from the comics. It's like, yo, how many ghosts can go in the ghost entrapment? Oh, it's kind of full, so we got to figure out somewhere to offload these ghosts. So yeah, Site B. But I can honestly say I enjoyed the movie. I didn't feel like sad or anything like when this one came out, as opposed to when Afterlife came out and we got the Ghost of Egon coming to help with the proton pack. But all in all, this movie was very good, and I will definitely give this a 9.5 out of 10. I just wish we got a little bit more of like the B characters, so like Lucky, and a little bit more podcasts, and a little bit more of what the older Ghostbusters were doing. Because like Ray was pretty much the driving force in as far as the senior Ghostbusters. Like Winston's rich, so I could give him a break, but it would have been nice to see what Peter Venkman was doing like in his downtime, because he only showed up like when shit started to get real. And apparently Bill Murray actually is the reason why Ernie Hudson got to stay on Ghostbusters. He fought for him. So shout out to Bill Murray. Despite what everyone's saying about you at the moment and like what they've been saying for like the past few years, you are a real one. But I think that's it, guys. So this is Bernard, and that was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like I said, I am not seeing Godzilla vs. Kong, so next week it will just be X-Men 97 and the season finale of Invincible. So yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.